So Penny, you brought in this chair. Tell us a little bit about this. What do you know about it? How did you get it? What is the story as far as you know on the chair?
My father bought it at an auction or sale many years ago, and he had it looked at up at a winter thrower, and they said it was pretty valuable, but we never had anything to document it, and now that he's passed, we just didn't know.
Okay, so you had some clues
Yes.
that it was worth some money,
Yes.
but you don't really know the details of that. So you have this sort of this murky substructure of a story that somewhere down the line someone told you it was valuable, but now you're here to say, okay, why is it valuable and possibly document it for insurance? Let's talk about value for a second, because I always have to explain this to people. When you talk about value, there's essentially, to oversimplify it, there's two values to everything. Think of it as wholesale and retail. If you said to me you wanted to sell this chair, you could sell it at a wholesale value. Now the legal term for that is fair market value. That's what you could sell it for. Then there's the insurance value, which is more retail. In other words, what would it cost at a store? And so I could give you both numbers. I'm going to give you retail and wholesale, but just understand, when you talk about value, it really depends on what you're going to do with the piece. If you're selling it, it's the wholesale value. If you're keeping it, it's the insurance, or a lot of people call that replacement value. That's another term for it, or retail. So let's talk about your chair. This is really interesting. This chair was made by a man called John Henry Belter. John Henry Belter is considered the greatest furniture maker, American furniture maker of the 19th century. He had a warehouse in New York, and this is really interesting. They did a study of his business. His business started in the 1850s, and he went into the late 19th century. They did a study of his work, and they found that he made his furniture so good that he could not make money, because they put so much time into it. They used the best materials. They literally couldn't make a good business model because the furniture was made too good. Now what that has resulted in is these museum pieces, but unfortunately for him, he couldn't make any money at it when he actually made the furniture. So this is a John Henry Belter piece. Now, the wood itself is rosewood. Rosewood, you can always tell rosewood, it has a very telltale, it's brown, and then there's black striations that you see through the wood. So if you looked at this wood really close, you would see this black veining that runs through the wood. What John Henry Belter did, he was one of the inventors of laminated furniture. If you look at the edge of this chair, you will see sections. You will see that this curved back is actually 6 or 7 pieces of curved wood that have been curved and laminated together. That made the back and that made the structure of the chair extremely hard and extremely sturdy. That's why this is a 150-year-old chair and anybody could sit in it. It's not going to break. The back is called a spoon back. We would call this today a parlor chair. So it's a Victorian parlor chair by John Henry Belter, circa 1850 to 1860, made in New York, American, and it's in pretty decent condition. I don't know if the fabric is original. That really doesn't matter. Now I look at the finish of the wood. You've got some cracks, you've got some things that you'd have to do with the patina, but overall it's in good shape. So now let's talk about value. If you wanted to sell this chair on today's market, you could probably sell this chair in the $2,000 range. I would insure the chair for $4,500. So you've got an insurance value of $4,500, and you've got a selling value of around $1,500 to $2,000 if you wanted to sell it, say at an auction or sell it through a consignment store or to a dealer. But it is a phenomenal chair, and I got to tell you, for the first thing out of the gate at the show, it's so exciting to be able to talk about something like this, because I guarantee you this is going to be one of the best things that we see today.
Oh, wow.